if I believe that something's right and it can be done,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get it done, and I won't stop until it's done.
Yeah.
I believe that if people are doing it already, I just inherently believe that I or we can do it better.
Yeah.
Not to say that anybody's worse than
No.
we are. That's just the competitive nature in me. I want it. I want
Mm-hmm.
everything that we do to be the best, simply because that's what people deserve.
Yeah.
Once I switched from OxyContin to heroin, I started to use it intravenously,
Mm-hmm.
and that's when things just really started to get out of control. And ran with it. I mean, that's what it was. We developed so then I went to outpatient treatment.
Mm-hmm.
I formalized it as a 501c3 when I was in IOP. I graduated PHP, went to IOP, so
Yeah.
I was about 90 days sober.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just jotting down all these notes, and I'm like thinking about what my life is going to be like. What am I going to do? How am I going to make her happy? How am I going to convince her to marry me someday? What am I going to do with my life? It's a passion. It's a calling.
Yeah.
I truly believe, I hear people say this all the time. Some people think it's cheesy. What I went through was for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that 100%.
Yeah.
I believe I was called to do this work, um, and I'm obsessed with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm.
Today we are here with Matt Bell, owner of Team Recovery, and I think we're going to have a pretty cool conversation here. So, Matt, introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name's Matt Bell. I'm the CEO of Team Recovery, founder. We have a foundation side, board chair as well, and person in recovery.
Yeah. You're doing a lot of stuff. I've seen, my dad has shown me so much of what you're doing, and everything is so cool, like how you're guiding this team in, especially in recovery. There's not a lot of people who are as vocal as you and willing to share this information and
Mm-hmm.
get it out there. And especially as a person in recovery,
Mm-hmm.
that's huge. And so you know what it's like.
Mm-hmm.
So let's take it back to the start before you were in recovery and what got you into these positions.
Before recovery, I mean, gosh, long journey. But to summarize everything, I mean, I had a great life.
Hmm.
I really had if I could like rewind and ask for something different in
Hmm.
my childhood, there's nothing that I could ask for that
Yeah.
would be different. I had a very, very good upbringing, mom and dad in the home that loved me. I
Hmm.
never really saw any sort of, I mean, my parents would have a drink here and there, but nothing excessive. Never saw any trauma or abuse or neglect or anything like that. Went to private schools, got great grades. I was the perfect child,
Yeah.
in my parents' eyes. And uh, I always joke about this. I do a lot of prevention work in schools too, and I tell kids that I broke up with my first girlfriend because she smoked a cigarette. And actually, I didn't even confirm that that was actually true. I just heard that she did and called her immediately and broke up with her. So like I was raised very straight edge.
Mhm.
Went to church twice a week, straight A's,
Yeah.
three sports. Like life was really really good. And then once I hit high school, that's when things changed a lot for
Mhm.
me. I was used to everything being exactly the same, like K through 8.
Mhm.
25 kids, small school, private school, and then I went to a large college prep, all boys Catholic high school.
Mhm.
And that's when I mean, it was kind of like a perfect storm. I had felt all these feelings of fear and insecurity, and didn't know how to talk about that.
Yeah.
I truly didn't know, especially as a guy, with in a school
Yeah.
with all guys. Like, how do you say I'm afraid?
Mhm.
How do I say I acknowledge the fact that I'm not the best point guard anymore,
Mhm.
whatever it is. A lot more competition. And my father got sick with cancer and passed away actually on
Mhm.
Father's Day. And that was all that put together. It was truly, I say it was a perfect storm. So I started seeking people's approval. I tell people all the time, my first addiction was your approval. It had nothing to do with
Yeah.
substances. And I started to do things that I wasn't raised to do. And it didn't start with the substances. It started with
Mhm.
hanging out with people and doing things and saying things and just like behaviors, just so that I could feel accepted
Mhm.
and not have to feel what was going on
Yeah.
inside. But being around those people, I say all the time, you hang out in a barber shop long enough, you will get a haircut.
Mhm.
And I hung out in that proverbial barber shop long enough, which was people that were doing certain things. Started with cigarettes, and then
Mhm.
it just snowballed from one thing to the next, alcohol and marijuana. And I quickly found that I loved those things, and I did it in excess. I did more than other people.
Mhm.
I got a DUI the very first day that I got my driver's license when I turned 16. Things just escalated. But I will say that I was a star athlete. I was a 4.0 student,
Mhm.
and so anytime that I got in trouble, it was always brushed under the rug.
Yeah.
Always, every time. And so I'm a firm believer in consequences. I believe that if there are no consequences in life, that what motivation do we have to change? And I
Mhm.
had no motivation to change. So I just continued on, but was always able to manage it. So got a full ride to play baseball to the University of Toledo.
Mhm.
Hurt my shoulder freshman year and was prescribed pain pills. That was the first time that I ever
Mhm.
took an opioid. And I immediately fell in love with it and
Yep.
adopted the same ideology with substances that I did in high school. If one is good, five has to be
Yeah.
great. I did the same thing with pain pills, and that's what really started my addiction journey. Started with pain pill Percocets, then it
Mhm.
escalated to OxyContin, and OxyContin went away, and then it turned into heroin. And for 9 years, I was addicted to heroin. A lot of bad things happened in those 9 years.
Mhm. It's really interesting because like people have their assumptions that like if you were an addict and you live these ways, then like you just didn't have a good childhood
Right.
and that like none of these things, but you're proving the opposite, that like you're a product of your environment at times too, and it's the people that you choose to be around, and that can alter your life path completely.
100%. 100%. Society has this stigma on what an addict or a person who
Hmm.
uses drugs looks like, and it's like it does not discriminate.
It's not
I always
at
say
all.
that it's an equal opportunity destroyer, and it doesn't care,
Hmm.
what your race is or your age
Yeah.
or what your family's last name is or how much money you have in your
Hmm.
bank account. We're all prone to this, and
Yeah, and
so
it'll
it's a
take it from you.
100%.
And so 9 years of addiction.
Mhm.
Let's talk about what living in that was like for you.
I mean, it was a nightmare. It started off. I'll talk about my family dynamics a little bit.
Yeah.
My mom. I'm a mama's boy
Hmm.
all the way, and my mom was always there for me. And, like even to this day, like obviously our relationship dynamics are significantly different today, but in the beginning of my addiction, my mom knew nothing about addiction,
Hmm.
and so she thought she was helping me,
Yeah.
but I mean she was textbook codependent enabler.
Yeah.
Everything that she was doing was helping me perpetuate the cycle of addiction.
Hmm.
Anytime I got arrested, she bailed me out.
Hmm.
Anytime I needed money to pay rent, she would give it to me. I mean, just whatever I needed,
Yeah.
and she didn't realize, she thought she was helping, but everything that she was doing to quote unquote help was just allowing me to, put funds towards
Hmm.
more drugs. But once I switched from Oxycontin to heroin, I started to use it intravenously,
Hmm.
and that's when things just really started to get out of control. I inherited my father's funds
Hmm.
when he passed away, and that was right around the time when I turned 18 is
Yeah.
is when all this started to happen. And so I had a lot of cash,
Yeah.
and I just burned through it on drugs. I didn't really have to turn towards committing crime to
Hmm.
fund my addiction in the beginning because I had a bank account full of
Yeah.
cash. But went when that bank account read zero, then I had to start doing what I was doing, which was just a lot of theft to feed my
Hmm.
addiction. And so that's when the arrests started happening. I was arrested 13 times in
Hmm.
4 different states. I eventually accumulated 3 felonies:
Hmm.
Pennsylvania, Ohio, and Michigan. Um, I went to 28 rehabs all over the country.
That's great.
Um, I overdosed 3
Hmm.
times. Um, I experienced homelessness for the last couple of years of my active
Hmm.
addiction. Just, I mean, all the work, the things that if you would have said, would anybody looking at this child and his upbringing be willing to bet that this could happen to him? I mean, anybody would have put all their money on it and said there's no way.
Yeah.
And all these things that I ended up doing, I never envisioned for myself, and,
Hmm.
and certainly never thought it was going to happen. But like I said, it happens to it doesn't matter who it is. It
Yeah.
can happen to anybody. And so it was a long, long 9 years. Got to the point in the end where um, I asked my mom if I could sleep in her garage because she had started to learn about enabling and things
Hmm.
like that, and going to support group meetings. She was cut me off. The whole family cut me
Yeah.
off, and I asked her if I could just sleep in her garage because it
Hmm.
was a very, very cold night. She said, "Matt, if you don't get off my property, I'm calling the police."
Hmm.
And that she had said things like that to me
Yeah.
plenty of times before, but like to me, what I heard was, um, I need to take care of myself
Hmm.
as your mother. You're affecting me in ways that are just far too drastic at this point.
Yeah.
And regardless of whether you survive this night or not, is not my responsibility, and you're on your own.
Hmm.
And so even though she didn't say those words, that's what I heard and that's what I felt. And it just put me into a very, very low depressive state that I've never been in. Not
Yeah.
to say that any part of addiction was fun, but that was my low to hear her
Mhm.
say that. And I actually called the police on myself.
Wow.
I wanted to go to prison. That
Yeah.
was my goal.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's interesting that that was your breaking point. Like there could be so many things, but
Hmm.
having someone so important to you like say I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not enabling you. I can't do this for myself
Hmm.
because I mean addiction affects the families so much too, not
Absolutely.
just you. It changes their whole lives and how they view things and how they have to act and everything. So for her to finally be like, "Matt, this isn't happening anymore. I can't do this for you."
Yeah.
And was that what led you to finally getting into your final treatment?
Yeah, that was October 14th, 2015. I called the police that night. Um, in Lucas County, they had just started a program
Mhm.
called the DART Unit, Drug Abuse Response Team.
Mhm.
It's essentially a QRT, a
Yeah.
quick response team. Our sheriff at the time got some funding from Governor DeWine
Mhm.
and got it launched. They had two officers at the time. I didn't know about it.
Mhm.
But when I called the police and said, "Hey, I have three active felony warrants in
Mhm.
three states right now. I'm already a felon. I have a weapon. I have
Mhm.
drugs. I have
Yeah.
paraphernalia. I would like you to come arrest me and
Mhm.
take me to jail." They they were like, "This isn't normal.
Yeah, what?
People don't do this.
No, not at
Something
all.
else is going on." And so they had a protocol in place where they got the DART unit involved, and
Mhm.
DART ended up responding, and normal car, no cage between the
Yeah.
front seat and the back seat, a plain clothes officer,
Mhm.
sheriff's deputy, but in plain
Yeah.
clothes, and got in the car and started driving. And I know my town. I know
Mhm.
which way the jail is.
Yeah.
We're not going towards the jail. I'm like,
Mhm.
is this even a real cop right now? Like, am I getting
Yeah, where are
kidnapped?
we
Like, what's
going?
going on? I don't really understand this. And he said, I'm taking you to treatment. And he named a treatment center that I had already been to 8 times
Mhm.
that year. Like that year alone, I had already been to
Yeah.
8 times. I'd go in for a couple days and leave against
Mhm.
medical advice. But he gave me a little pep talk and said, this is the last chance you're going to have, Matt.
Mhm.
You know, like if you do not take advantage of this, you're either going to die or you
Mhm.
are going to end up in prison.
Yeah.
And you don't want either of those things.
Mhm.
And so that was October 15th, with the day
Mhm.
that I actually got admitted into the
Yeah.
treatment center, October 15th, 2015, and I've been sober ever since.
And okay, so then this is interesting because most people aren't doing this on day two of in treatment.
Hmm.
You founded your company.
Yeah, yes.
Like that was very. I just thought that was so cool
Yeah.
hearing that because you had a vision for yourself
Hmm.
day two
Yeah,
of what you could do and how you could help
yeah,
people.
yeah,
Let's talk about
yeah,
that a little bit.
yeah. It's pretty interesting because I had a vision for something. I had no
Yeah,
clue what it was going to be.
you had a concept.
I'm sitting there, I'm detoxing, I'm tossing and turning,
Mhm.
not sleeping. I'm writing. My girlfriend at the time, who has never experienced addiction,
Yeah.
never struggled with substance use, never seen it.
Mhm.
I'm writing her a letter and begging her to stay and
Mhm.
telling her all these things. Like it's 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm just jotting down all these notes, and I'm like thinking about what my life is gonna be like. What am I
Yeah.
gonna do? How am I gonna make her happy? How am
Mhm.
I gonna convince her to marry me someday? What am I gonna do with my life?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about all these, yes, I can get sober, but then I'm gonna have to go turn myself in for all
Mhm.
these warrants that I have, and I'm not very employable with felonies on my record.
Yeah.
What do I want to do? And I was like, well, all this stuff that I've been through, maybe it can be actually
Mhm.
an asset.
Yeah.
I'm viewing it as a liability, but I heard somebody one day in a meeting that always stuck with me. He said, if you change your attitude, you'll change your life.
Mhm.
And attitude's not the only thing; it's everything. And I said, okay, perfect. Attitude. Let's apply attitude to this. Maybe it's not a bad
Yeah.
thing. Let's turn it into a good thing.
Mhm.
What are treatment centers not doing in my area? They're not calling people like my mom and working with them. They're not providing family
Yeah.
support groups for parents. They're not doing community, just pro-social networking
Yeah.
activities so people feel part of a community.
Mhm.
They're not doing a great job of doing primary prevention in schools. I said
Mhm.
maybe I should just start to do those things. It had nothing to do with business.
Yeah.
It was just I can be of service. I can use
Mhm.
my experience to help people. And so named it, called it Team Recovery,
Yeah.
came up with all these ideas, t-shirts. I mean, it was like just silly stuff. We even
Yeah.
get wristbands with our names
Yeah.
on it. Just
Make
all
it
these,
fun.
yeah, like the idea and the name was born. We'd go into group. I told all the other people in detox, we'd go into group and put our hands in a huddle like a sports team because I
Mhm.
love sports. I've always
Yeah.
1, 2, 3 Team Recovery. Like
Yeah.
it was fun.
Mhm.
And ran with it. I mean, that's what it was. We developed so then I went to outpatient treatment.
Mhm.
I formalized it as a 501c3 when I was in IOP. I graduated PHP, went to IOP, so I
Yeah.
was about 90 days sober,
Mhm.
and got the approval letter from the IRS
Mhm.
and we developed a fantastic board of directors.
Mhm.
But we were already getting active in the community, just doing things. We were
Yeah.
holding signs on street corners,
Mhm.
positive signs. We started that family support group that nobody else was doing.
Mhm.
We started speaking at schools in a way that nobody else was doing it
Yeah.
yet. Typically, you'll see like a prevention specialist
Yeah.
or a police officer
Mhm.
or something go in and give these presentations, and we wanted to do it completely different.
Mhm.
You know, lived experience.
Yeah.
We're not that far off from where you guys are at in high
Mhm.
school. We know what it's like. We know the pressure that comes
Oh
with
yeah.
that sort of stuff. So it was really that just initial planning session on the 17th of October, 2 days sober, that some ideas started to come to fruition very quickly,
Mhm.
and that really gave us an audience and a platform to continue to grow those initiatives, to
Yeah.
build the foundation, and then um, you know that's 2022 decided, you know what, we're working with a lot of treatment centers.
Mhm.
We're trying to get people linked, but still, again, don't necessarily love the way that it's being done, and not to the fault of the treatment centers. It's
Yeah.
the system, right? The system is a very difficult system to
Oh
operate. It's
yeah.
a philosophical model forced to fit into a medical model.
Mhm.
And how do we make it feel better? How do we make treatment more
Yeah.
enjoyable? How do we make treatment feel less punitive? How do
Mhm.
we decrease the stigma and make people feel like they're the same way that someone feels when they go to the dentist when they
Yeah.
have a cavity. You know, like
Yeah.
they're not ashamed to go get their cavities
No.
filled. So it was just all that put together. We said, well, I want to do something like that, do something
Mhm.
different. So in 2022, that launched, and so yeah, it was born on October 17th. Had no clue what it was going to become,
Yeah.
but it was born, and today, uh, October 17th, is officially Team Recovery Day in the city of Toledo.
That is
Yeah.
amazing. That is so, it's just inspiring because I mean, working in this field and growing up as a daughter of someone in recovery and in this field, like I see that there's a lot of treatment options but there's not a lot for after treatment
Mm-hmm.
or helping the families or just helping you a stable living person.
Mm-hmm.
And so having someone who lived through it,
Yeah.
went through all the hardships, knows what it's like to be in and out of treatment and be
Mm-hmm.
in and out of jail, that's so huge because half the time it's just people with this idea and it's
Mm-hmm.
brought to you by a state board and here you
Mm-hmm.
go. But having that real lived experience is so important and makes all the difference for all of these people.
I agree. I think that's one of our uniques of our organization is just having that lived experience
Hmm.
at the leadership table. And we've got wonderful leaders in our organization, and we're constantly looking at where the needs are at in the
Hmm.
community and coming up with ideas. And most of the time, our team, a lot of experience. I
Hmm.
mean, just our team is
Yeah.
is comprised of a lot of really, really amazing people. Um, but what some of them do not bring is that lived experience. And
Hmm.
so we'll put together an idea for, I don't know, a group schedule in
Yeah.
our residential program or something like that, and it'll get proposed, and I'll look at it and I'm like, this is good, but it's not great.
Hmm.
This all looks good, but at 8 o'clock at night, this is when I started to get froggy in the
Yeah.
detox.
Hmm.
That downtime that we're
Hmm.
calling like relaxation time.
Yeah.
Like, let's shift this to maybe 3 o'clock in the afternoon
Hmm.
to get a little break in the day, but like we got to do something at 8 o'clock at night to make sure that
Yeah.
that those fleeting thoughts of
Hmm.
using or leaving or whatever it might be are not as possible.
Yeah.
So always love to be able to put my twist on
Hmm.
the ideas that our team comes up with. It's fun. It's
Yeah.
fun. It really is fun.
And it's great that you have something that like is fun for you. Like it's not
Oh
like
yeah.
you got sober and you fixed your things and then you're also enjoying it as well, which is so important and makes all the
Yeah.
difference because that some people they can do it and like yeah they're all right but they're not having too much fun with it and
Yeah.
it's work.
Yeah.
But like this is a passion for you and it's huge for you.
It's a passion. It's a calling.
Yeah.
I truly believe, I hear people say this all the time. Some people think it's cheesy. What I went through was for a reason.
Hmm.
I believe that 100%.
Yeah.
I believe I was called to do this work. Um, and I'm obsessed with it.
Hmm.
Like I'm sometimes like
Yeah.
in an unhealthy way
Yeah.
obsessed with what I do. Like
Hmm.
I love it so much. But I believe that that's what it should take. I take this so seriously.
Hmm.
That's why I went back to school to get my master's degree in social work. I want to know everything I possibly can
Yeah.
about this because I want it to be excellent. I
Hmm.
want service delivery to people that are just like me to feel different than the way that it did when I
Hmm.
was in treatment. This is life or death.
Yeah.
And I feel that if you're not competitive, again, going back to sports, like if
Hmm.
you're not competitive in this space,
Yeah.
if you don't take it as seriously as I do, if you're not obsessed with
Hmm.
it in the way that I am, then I truly believe that that's a disservice to the people that
Yeah.
you serve and to the team that you work with.
That's that's so empowering. That is really incredible. So let's talk about the masters a little bit and just like your life now
Yeah.
and more recently and stuff. So you went back to school to get your master's in social work.
Hmm.
So that's huge. Like
Yeah.
you're really going all in on this like calling here.
Yeah. 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 That was I I don't know why I did that. My wife wasn't very happy with it. It was there's never a good time to do things like that,
No,
you know.
no.
But it was right around the time that I wanted to start the treatment services.
Hmm.
So I went back to the University of Toledo, which is where I played baseball and
Hmm.
dropped out. Went back there, went through the whole bachelor's program full time, and
Yeah.
this was like so many other things were happening too. I mean, we were launching the treatment
Yeah.
services. I had a baby, have two
Gosh.
other older children.
Yeah.
We got married around that time. I mean, so many life things were
Hmm.
happening while going to school
Yeah.
full time, and I did all in-person classes.
Hmm.
I didn't want to do online. I just do not like online
Yeah.
classes or meetings in general. I love to be. I like.
The personal.
Yeah, it's important to me. So wanted to be there in person. Got that done in 4 years, and then they had a advanced standing master's track that was
Hmm.
you can get it done in a year basically
Okay.
instead of 2 years, which was intense.
Yeah. Oh, I bet.
And most of the individuals are employed already,
Hmm.
working in with their bachelor's in social work, and so it's all evening classes
Hmm.
for the master's track. But that was the longest year of my life. Like working from
Yeah.
6 a.m. until most nights it's 10 p.m. But during that year it was 6 to 6,
Yeah.
and then I'd leave at 6 and go straight to class, and I'd
Yeah.
be in class for another 3 to 4 hours. So I'd get home at 10 or
Hmm.
11 at night and have my
Yeah.
first meal and respond to
Oh my gosh.
300 emails. So it was nuts. But again, I did it because it's the right thing to do. I will forever be an unfinished leader. There's always
Hmm.
more to be learned
Yeah.
and to develop on. And I believe it was the right thing to do for our team as well.
Hmm.
Just to add some credibility,
Yeah.
and some trust if it wasn't there
Hmm.
for our team to say that, hey, Matt's got a degree now. It's not just the lived experience and
Yeah.
his business acumen. He's educated at this
Hmm.
point. Not that they didn't think that, but
Yeah.
and I wanted to show my kids that you finish what you start,
Yeah.
and because I always talk to them about that,
Hmm.
and I thought about that one day. I was like, I'm telling them to finish all the things that they start, but here I am, a
Yeah.
college dropout, and I never went back. I have to
Hmm.
practice what I preach. So I was very proud of that.
Yeah. Well, you should be because
Thank you.
that's incredible. That
Thank
is a lot of work and showing up for yourself and your team like that and your family while alongside having a baby and getting
you. Yeah.
married and having other children and running a
Hmm.
company. That is a lot. And I mean, a normal person couldn't handle most of that. But you took those things and fueled it into something amazing.
Absolutely. And I'll say this too, like I learned a lot when
Hmm.
I was in school. I didn't know what it was going to be like. But my perspectives in general on not just social work, but addiction treatment and human beings in
Yeah.
general has changed so much. I had very fortunate to be taught by some amazing
Hmm.
professors, and just I learned a lot. And so it's not just a degree that I wanted to get to say that I have a degree.
Yeah.
I went and got the license as well, and so
Hmm.
I get to exercise that license. I
Yeah.
get to I get to pop into group, and whether
Hmm.
it's a mental health day treatment
Yeah.
or a inpatient or outpatient group, I get to exercise that license. And that part's really fun because I don't
Oh,
get to do it too often, but I will never stop doing that.
hmm.
I will never stop working with people because that's what I love.
Yeah. That's incredible. So your life now, you're a father. How many kids do you have?
Three.
Three. That's
Three. I have
incredible.
two 15-year-olds and a almost 3-year-old.
Hmm.
She'll be 3 in March.
Yeah. So, I know you had mentioned in your form, like that's so important to you is your children and
Yeah.
that those relationships and stuff.
Yeah.
So it it's cool that, because like coming from someone who has had a father do very well in his
Yeah.
recovery, and just see then and now, like, you're building a legacy for your children that where they can really like respect you and look up to you and see like my dad went through hard things and he came out 10 times better and showed us, like, that is huge. That is
Absolutely.
so huge. So let's talk about that for a second.
I use it every day,
Mhm.
every single day with my kids. And obviously, what I talk to them about now, my 15-year-olds, versus what I talked to them about when they were 5,
Yeah.
drastically different conversations, but the same context, right?
Mhm.
Choices and consequences,
Yeah.
right? You make a joke about something
Mhm.
and the teacher finds out, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
You know, you hang out with the wrong people who are doing the wrong
Mhm.
things, even if you don't do it, guilty by
Yep.
association. You know, everything's on social media nowadays. It can
Mhm.
look a certain way. Like just so many things about um, use my mistakes
Yeah.
to make sure that you don't have to go through the same things. I had a
Mhm.
conversation with my kids last night, and so, but parenting in general, um, there's a lot of things that I love to do in life, and
Mhm.
a lot of things that uh, like if I were to ask other people, like, what do you think I was put on this earth for?
Mhm.
I think most people, just knowing me, would be like, well, for sure, team recovery. What
Yeah.
everything that you do with team recovery's helped so many people. Your purpose was team recovery,
Mhm.
and I partially agree with that. I love that.
Yeah.
My purpose is my children and my family.
Yeah.
Um, there is no greater joy, and I have a lot of really, really strong things that bring me joy in my
Mhm.
life, but there is nothing compared to the absolute joy. Doesn't even it doesn't it's a disservice. The word joy
Yeah.
is a disservice to what I feel. It's just, I can't even put words around it.
Mhm.
If I could have 100 children
Mhm.
and not have to worry about like money or work,
Yeah.
and if I had a nanny for each one of them,
Yeah.
and my wife was okay with it, and we
Mhm.
had a 20,000 square foot house and
Yeah.
everything was fine, I would have 100 children, just because it's to see a human that you create come into this world
Mhm.
that knows nothing
Yeah.
and is as pure as can be,
Mhm.
that cannot eat on their own, cannot even hold their own head up,
Yeah.
and to see them turn into a version of themselves that is a version of you
Mhm.
is the most beautiful thing that can happen to a human being.
Mhm.
And so now I think about what it's going to be like for them to be able to do that
Yeah.
too, to know how much it meant to me and to know how much it's going to mean to them someday. I love parenting, and I
And
would
that's
do anything for my
amazing.
kids.
That is amazing. And I can tell that they definitely know that for sure. Like,
Yeah.
you've taken everything that you've learned and just poured it into your children
Hmm.
and what not to do
Yeah.
and just how to help them. And
Yeah.
that's so incredible because, I mean, a lot of people don't get that. Like, you broke the cycle for your family
Yeah.
and you are continuing to just show up every day and better yourself
Hmm.
in order to better them, which
Absolutely.
is so strong.
Absolutely.
So I think that's pretty good. Is there anything else you want to talk about or reflect on or anything? Your life now?
I'm happy to talk about anything that you would like to talk about. I mean,
Okay.
there's nothing specific that I want to
Mhm.
I mean, no, I mean, I don't want to like plug the business or anything like that. You know, like I'm not here for that. I'm here
Yeah.
to spread a message of
Yeah.
whatever the mission or the vision is
Mhm.
for your podcast.
Yeah. No, and I think this has been a really good conversation. Your story is incredible. The way you have just taken everything that happened to you and you didn't become a product of it. You forged something
Hmm.
really, really incredible with what you're doing, and you're helping so many people and showing that, like, it's not always just like you're born into this and this is how
Yeah.
your life is going to turn out, that like things could change for you at any moment and it could change the trajectory of your life, and like it kind of is up to you to what you want to do with it
Yeah.
and what steps you're going to take and how low you're going
Hmm.
to get to that breaking point.
Hmm.
So you have a very strong story, and I'm very honored to be able to talk with you about it. Let me pull up the 5 questions we want to ask you. Okay. So what is a grounding quote that helps you? I have your response here if you want to look at it.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. 5 questions there. So.
Oh yeah, I mentioned that already. Um, should I just answer the question
Yeah.
now? Okay. I would say, well, I have 2 quotes
Okay.
that I have to say. And this has helped me, and I even have to like catch myself and remind myself of saying this. Um, there's an old timer in a meeting a long time ago. I was not sober at the time, but it was one of those things that just stuck with me
Yeah.
forever. Mentioned it earlier in the podcast. That attitude is not the only thing; it's everything.
Yeah.
And if you change your attitude, you'll change your life. And I'll catch myself, going down a rabbit hole of whatever it might be. And it's one of the there's so much that we can't control in life.
Yeah.
And it's one of the only things, maybe potentially the only thing that I can control is my attitude and the way that I think about things. And so just how do I reframe what's going on? Is this happening to me or is this happening for me?
Yeah.
Is this a liability or can I turn this into an asset?
Mm-hmm.
All these, I mean, I could give 1,000 scenarios, but just having a positive outlook on things, attitude is so incredibly important. Um, there's another quote that I share with people all the time, especially when I'm working with individuals that are struggling or trying to get sober or new in recovery.
Mm-hmm.
This was another thing that the same guy said to me. Um, I was going in and out of recovery. I'd come into meetings, stay sober for a couple months, relapse, go to treatment or go to jail,
Yeah.
come back to the meetings. And this guy had been sober for like 30 years at the time. And he saw me come back again. And when I got sober, I couldn't look people in the eyes. Like I could not have a conversation. I couldn't formulate a sentence. I certainly couldn't look people in the eyes and say anything with confidence. But he was asking me this question, and I was just looking down because I couldn't look at him and give him a good answer. But he asked me a question. He said, Matt, if drugs are your answer, what's your question? And it was so deep and profound to me that like not only could I not look him in the eye, even if I had an answer, I couldn't give it to him.
Yeah.
But I did not. It was so deep.
Mm-hmm.
And I ask people this all the time because I truly believe that people use substances as they believe it's a viable solution. It's a coping mechanism. It's a very unhealthy coping mechanism. But when people are using substances addictively, it's a solution to some sort of pain. A lot of times, physical pain is what starts it, but emotional pain, right?
Yeah.
And so, but if that is your answer, what is your question?
Yeah.
And nobody can tell you that. That he couldn't have told me that. My sponsor couldn't have told me that. My therapist couldn't have told me that. I had to dig deep and figure out how to ask questions to all those people so that I could figure out what that answer was. And that question for me was, what is it about myself that I am so uncomfortable with that I cannot be me the way that I wake up naturally in the morning?
Yeah.
Why do I have to alter who I am to have a relationship with the world? And once I was able to figure out that question, I was able to then reverse engineer some solutions for that so that my answer was no longer drugs and alcohol.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. That was a good response. Okay, inspiring book or song. You put The Big Book of AA.
Yeah, I mean, I like to. I don't love to read. I love to listen. I shouldn't say I love. I like to listen to audiobooks. And I've read quite a few or listened to quite a few books as of recent that I could easily spout off here, but I think my default answer is The Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous. When I think about when that was written almost 100 years ago and where treatment, I mean, people were locked up and thrown in padded rooms, put in straitjackets at this time when this was written, and there was only a few doctors that knew anything about addiction, and they didn't know what to do. And I mean, it talks about it in the doctor's opinion of the relatability of one person that's been through something coming in and talking to somebody else was they didn't find anything that was as impactful as that. They had tried all these different alternatives, and just one person talking to another person finally showed some sort of positive result. And then just every part of it, of the Big Book, I see myself in every sentence and every word of that book. And every time I read it, I find something different and new. And to just think about in terms of recovery programs, because I view treatment and recovery completely different. Recovery is something that I will have to do for the rest of my life. And the 12 steps that are in that book and in that program are not just for getting and staying sober. I can apply the 12 steps to any problem that
Yeah.
I'm having in my life. And so to think about what an amazing gift I've been given,
Hmm.
I think that people in recovery have a superpower,
Yeah.
and they have access to something that not everybody else in the world has. I think
Hmm.
that book is truly the key to so many different parts of success in
Hmm.
life. So I I'm grateful for Bill and Bob
Yeah.
for putting that together and doing their thing, because I wouldn't be here if it weren't for that.
Okay. Daily practice in your life. Your response was third step prayer every morning.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I do.
Hmm.
It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter where I'm at.
Hmm.
And again, these are suggestions that were given to me
Yeah.
from people that have done this way longer than I have. My sponsor, a long time ago, um, told me that this is what I should do every
Hmm.
single morning before I do anything
Yeah.
else. And so every morning when I gain consciousness,
Hmm.
sometimes it's even before I open my eyes, like
Yeah.
just when I'm awake, before I get up, before I have a
Hmm.
cup of coffee, anything, I say the third step prayer. And
Hmm.
it's just something that for me starts the day off with a clean slate and
Yeah.
basically turns everything over to my higher power
Yeah.
and says whatever happens today, basically it's meant to be, and I'm going
Hmm.
to make the absolute best out of it.
Yeah. That was my dad's response for that question as well.
No
And
way.
yeah, and so that the third step prayer has been like hugely instilled in me my whole life
That's
of
amazing.
like taking my will and give me yours, God, and give
Yeah,
me strength to do so. Like it,
that's amazing.
yeah. We love the third step prayer around here for sure. And
That's so
then
cool.
one word to describe you today, you put relentless.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I would say that's a
Yeah,
pretty good word. I mean, um I don't take no for an answer. I just
I can tell.
and I haven't since day one. When I mean, when you think about starting an organization of on day two of
Hmm.
detox, I don't know how many times that's been done
I
in
don't think
history.
often.
But I mean, I think back to like I was 9 months sober. We had a board of directors. And at that time, I said, you know, we want to do recovery housing. We
Hmm.
don't want to do treatment. We just want to do recovery housing at Team Recovery. What do you guys think? And these are judges,
Yeah.
attorneys, city council members, I mean, these are like, I'm 9 months sober.
Hmm.
These people are serving on our board,
Yeah.
have been doing things way longer than I have, and their responses were, no, no, we're not going to do recovery housing.
Hmm.
And I remember calling every one of them, having a very respectful, polite
Hmm.
conversation after that board meeting and asking them all to resign from the board.
Yeah.
I asked them all to
Oh
resign.
my gosh.
I said, appreciate you. We'll work with you forever.
Hmm.
Thank you for your service to the organization, but this is the direction that I want to
Hmm.
take this in. And if you're not okay with that, then
Yeah.
we have a disconnect here. And it's not a bad thing. I don't
Yeah.
dislike you or anything, and I hope that we can maintain a
Hmm.
relationship. But if you can't get on board with it, I'm asking you to resign. And so just um, if I believe in something, if I
Hmm.
believe that something is right, and I thank God I have so many good mentors and sounding
Hmm.
boards to talk about these things with and process them with. That's one thing that I've learned to do is not act out of emotion
Yeah.
or other bad intentions. But if I believe that something's right and it can be done,
Hmm.
I'm going to get it done, and I won't stop until it's done.
Yeah.
I believe that if people are doing it already, I just inherently believe that I or we can do it better.
Yeah.
Not to say that anybody's worse than
No.
we are. That's just the competitive nature in me. I want it. I want
Hmm.
everything that we do to be the best, simply because that's what people deserve.
Yeah.
So, and I think it takes a relentless attitude to be able to think that way.
That's incredible. That is incredible. You definitely are relentless for sure.
Thank you.
Of course, of course. So, thank you so much for coming
Yeah,
on here. I think your story is so powerful, and I think people will be very interested to hear your story.
that's awesome.
And so, yeah, thanks for coming
No,
out.
thank you so much for having me.
Of
It's
course.
been an honor.
Thank you.